Hello dear friends, today I've brought you the drama you loved, My Royal Nemesis Part 4. We've already covered the first 3 parts, and if you haven't watched them yet, I highly recommend doing so first to fully connect with the story and understand everything that's happened so far. I'll leave the links to the previous parts in the description below. Now, without wasting any more time, let's jump straight into Part 4. Then we the prince, who looks exactly like Kang. After the trial, he is sentenced to remain under house arrest in his own residence. While isolated, he spends his time painting a portrait of Seo. As he works, he notices someone standing outside his door. When he asks who it is, Seo quietly answers that she brought him some porridge. Still hurt by her betrayal, he tells her to leave. In his eyes, she has already done everything she was asked to do. At the same time, he worries that if anyone sees her visiting him, she could get into trouble. Overcome with guilt, Seo admits that she cannot forgive herself for what she has done. Despite his pain, the prince advises her to do exactly what people do in the royal palace when danger comes: save herself first. He orders her never to visit him again, which only deepens her guilt. Back in the present, Kang continues questioning Seo about her true identity. Seo becomes nervous and insists that he has lost his mind. Kang explains that she keeps appearing in his dreams. In those dreams, she is a palace maid with no family or friends. He even knows her name and clan. Although everything sounds impossible, he cannot shake the feeling that she is somehow the same person from another era. Seo desperately tries to calm him down, insisting that they are nothing more than ridiculous dreams. She jokes that he must be crazy, especially considering he somehow ended up outside in his pajamas. Unable to control her emotions, she quickly leaves. Alone, Seo struggles with whether she should finally tell him the truth or remain silent because she knows he would never believe her. Later, during a party, Kang tells Seo that he has concluded the visions are probably just dreams. He reveals that Tom also appears in them, but as a ruthless king, willing to sacrifice anything for power. Hearing this, Seo wonders if Kang is actually seeing fragments of the past. Their conversation is interrupted when Tae arrives and awkwardly inserts herself between them. She sarcastically questions why Seo is still standing there. Kang reminds Tae that he already told her to contact the office and arrange the official announcement ending their engagement. Seo immediately asks him not to discuss such matters publicly. To protect appearances, she tells Tae that she is indeed Kang's fiancé and that it is natural for them to appear together. She even jokingly encourages Kang to hold Tae's hand and take photos with her. Tae responds mockingly, asking who Seo thinks she is to give him permission. Seo quickly realizes that Tae is difficult, obsessive, and impossible to deal with. The chairman soon joins them, and Tae instantly acts like the perfect future wife. She sweetly explains that she wanted Kang to accompany her to the party. The chairman is delighted by her behavior. Feeling out of place, Seo prepares to leave, but Kang stops her and introduces her as the main face of their company's brand. Seo greets the chairman in an awkward way, secretly hoping he will remember meeting her before. Nearby, Tom watches the chairman proudly praising Kang and burns with jealousy, wishing he were in Kang's place. At the office, Tom learns that all the medical staff caring for the nurse have been bribed to stay loyal. He warns his assistant that there can be no mistakes. Meanwhile, the supposedly unconscious nurse suddenly moves her fingers, signaling that she may be waking up. Seo later consults the shaman and tells her about Kang's strange dreams. The shaman admits she has no idea whether Kang is seeing the past or somehow glimpsing another timeline. Frustrated, Seo asks why she came for help if the shaman only has more questions. Eventually, the shaman suggests a shocking possibility. Perhaps what they are experiencing is reincarnation. Meanwhile, Kang visits his doctor friend and asks for sleeping pills so he can stop dreaming altogether. The doctor advises him not to suppress the dreams, whether they are hallucinations or not. Kang insists that what he sees feels like the past rather than the future, which only confuses him more. Later, Kang seeks advice from Hyun, who immediately blames the dreams on excessive sleep. sleep. When Kang reveals that he only sleeps 2 or 3 hours a night, Hyun changes his opinion and says lack of sleep is probably the real problem. Once again, Kang regrets asking him for advice. Things become worse when Chae shows Kang footage from Seo's drama. One particular scene features Seo filming a romantic and seductive sequence with another actor. Kang becomes furious, tears apart the script, throws it on the floor. Hyun mistakenly assumes Kang is upset because he accidentally drank some of his coffee. Kang angrily demands to speak with whoever wrote the scene. On set, everyone is surprised that the scene has been changed. Seo performs brilliantly as always. However, another actress becomes jealous and complains that Seo's role is being expanded at her expense. The agency explains that all changes came directly from the company president. The actress recalls her childhood when she and Seo worked together. Even then, Seo received praise and attention because of her talent. Rather than acknowledging Seo's hard work, she spent years envying her and looking for ways to surpass or hurt her. Now she stares at Seo and wonders how her life changed so dramatically overnight. Meanwhile, Tom speaks with his son over the phone. His son wants to visit Korea from America, but Tom refuses because he considers his son his greatest weakness and wants to keep him away from danger. His son hangs up angrily. Realizing his mistake, Tom orders a ticket to America so he can personally apologize. Before he can leave, disaster strikes. He learns that the nurse has escaped from the hospital. The staff cannot explain how it happened. She was not kidnapped. She simply woke up, left the hospital, took a taxi, and disappeared. Tom immediately fears that she may be heading straight to Kang. Back on the drama set, the director praises Seo's excellent performance and informs her that the company's CEO personally insisted that she become the face of a major advertising campaign. Seo immediately realizes that Kang is behind it. Not long afterward, Kang arrives and confronts the actor who was supposed to film the romantic scene with Seo. He politely but clearly warns him to behave respectfully around her. Then, he reminds the actor that he is the main investor in the project, a thinly veiled threat that he could remove him from the production at any time. Kang then approaches Seo and jokingly complains that she never thanked him for changing the scene. With a smile, she finally gives him the gratitude he wanted. Elsewhere, Tom's problems continue piling up. The chairman suggests giving Kang a major leadership role in another company under the group. Hoping Kang will refuse, Tom pretends to support the idea. Instead, the chairman praises Kang's abilities and declares that he can succeed in any position. Tom can barely hide his resentment. Later, while riding in the car with Seo, Kang's mouth suddenly starts bleeding. He admits that one of his wisdom teeth has been causing severe pain. Seo drags him to a dentist and practically argues with the doctor throughout the examination. She confidently offers her own diagnosis and even suggests acupuncture. In the end, the doctor confirms that Kang's wisdom tooth is the problem and that surgery is necessary. The word surgery terrifies Kang, but Seo firmly tells him to trust the doctor. Before entering the operating room, Kang asks Seo to stay beside him. He wants the first thing he sees after surgery to be her face because he believes her presence will make the pain easier to bear. While under anesthesia, Kang once again returns to the Joseon-era. He remembers writing poetry and painting portraits for Seo. In his poem, he confesses that despite everything, he cannot stop thinking about her or feeling drawn toward her. When he wakes up, the first thing he does is ask for Seo. Not seeing her, he feels disappointed and believes she left. What he does not know is that she went to buy ice and cold drinks to help him recover. When she returns, Kang visibly relaxes. Concerned that her hands are freezing from carrying the ice, he tells her she should not have held it herself. Seo jokingly asks whether she was supposed to carry it on her head instead. As they talk, Seo asks if he had another dream. Kang reminds her that she always calls them dreams, but then reveals something shocking. In the latest vision, he was a prince, she was a palace maid, and Tom was the king. Seo becomes alarmed because the details are becoming far too specific. Kang explains that the prince seemed to feel both love and hatred toward the maid at the same time, and even described his feelings for her as foolish and irrational. Meanwhile, Meanwhile, Tae proudly looks at a newspaper photo featuring herself, Kang, and the chairman. Her mother returns from her trip and warns her that constantly chasing Kang will never make him love her. Tae stubbornly insists that her strategy is working and even plans to invite Kang to dinner. At the same time, Seo notices the newspaper photo and unexpectedly feels jealous. Soon afterward, her grandmother calls to thank her for arranging a separate room for her. However, the old woman admits that she hates being alone. She explains that even the grandest palace feels empty without people and warns Seo that loneliness is one of the hardest feelings a person can ever experience. After the party, the chairman returns to the small restaurant where he first met Seo. Curious about her, he asks the owner what kind of person she is. The woman immediately assumes he has fallen for a girl young enough to be his granddaughter. Embarrassed, the chairman denies it and explains that he only wants to understand her personality. The owner does not exactly praise Seo. She tells him that Seo has a sharp tongue with everyone, whether they are older or younger than her. She also mentions that she has never seen Seo with any close friends or a boyfriend. Meanwhile, Seo walks home alone while thinking about her grandmother's words about loneliness. She remembers how her grandmother said that even a palace feels empty if there is nobody to share it with. She also cannot stop thinking about Kang's dreams. When she arrives at her residence, she finds Kang waiting for her. The two end up having dinner together at a small local restaurant. While they eat, Kang drifts into thought and tells Seo that he plans to handle both his grandfather's expectations and the arranged marriage issue. He reassures her that all the complications will soon be over. Surprisingly, Seo asks him not to rush into canceling the engagement. She suggests letting things continue for a while so he can at least gain something from the situation. Kang explains that the reason he introduced her to his grandfather was because he wanted her to make a good impression. He also confidently says that even if his grandfather disapproves of their relationship, he is capable of standing on his own. Hearing this, Seo repeats the advice her grandmother once gave her: never live alone if possible, and treasure the people around you while you still have them. When Kang drives her back home, Seo warns him once again to be careful of Tom. Kang tells her not to worry about him and instead focus on protecting herself. Then he admits something that leaves her speechless. He says she is the only person in the world he finds difficult to deal with, and the reason is simply because he loves her too much. Jokingly, he asks her to stop appearing in his dreams. Seo then asks him a question that completely stuns him. What if everything he saw was not a dream at all? Kang has no answer. That night, Kang searches historical records from the Joseon-era for Seo's name, but finds nothing. The more he investigates, the more he feels like his mind is drifting into territory that defies logic. At the same time, Seo sits alone thinking about his dreams, knowing that every vision he sees is actually revealing the truth. Eventually, she visits a Joseon museum and stands in front of the painting the prince once made of her. The very painting she colored herself centuries ago. Looking at it brings back memories of the prince drawing her portrait while she admired his talent. For her, coloring the painting had symbolized burying her feelings for him deep inside her heart. While she is there, the woman she met at the museum before approaches her. Excitedly, she reveals that a newly discovered painting has been found. The artwork has almost no public recognition, but Seo is shocked when she sees it. It is a portrait of her accompanied by the exact palm Kang described from his dream. The sight triggers a flood of memories. She recalls the day the prince was sentenced to exile. At the time, she held the gift he had given her and desperately wanted to shout to everyone that he was innocent. She wanted to expose the king as the true villain behind everything. But just as she tried to run after him, the king stopped her and asked whether she planned to follow the prince into exile. To silence her, he handed her the very gift the prince had left behind. Back in the present, Seo stares at the painting and breaks into tears. She realizes that what existed between them was never simple love. It was torment. Two people suffering deeply without ever confessing their feelings. After leaving the museum, she remembers all the moments when Kang openly expressed his feelings for her. For the first time, she decides to stop running away. She resolves to accept his love and publicly acknowledge their relationship. With a bright smile, she visits visits a traditional herbal medicine store and asks for the finest products available. Elsewhere, the chairman asks Tom whether he has prepared an important position for Kang in the company. Tom responds diplomatically, claiming that positions are easy to arrange, but pretending to worry about how Kang might react. Secretly, he suggests sending Kang to the American branch, hoping to push him far away. The chairman replies that he will consider it. Meanwhile, Seo buys almost everything in the herbal shop and looks happier than she has in years. She immediately messages Kang and asks to meet him. Tom, however, is having the worst day of his life. Furious over the chairman's support for Kang, he suddenly receives a call from his assistant and rushes to the company. There he learns that the chairman has decided that Tom himself, not Kang, will be transferred to the American branch. At the same time, Kang is on his way to meet the nurse because she sent word through Hyun that she urgently needs to see him. As a result, he postpones his meeting with Seo. When Tom returns home, he is shocked to find Kang waiting for him. Kang throws a hidden listening device at him, revealing that he discovered it inside the plant Tom had previously gifted to his doctor. Then, Kang plays a recording from the nurse, who openly confesses that Tom ordered her to switch Kang's medication because he wanted him dead. Tom realizes he has been completely exposed. Enraged, he smashes the recording device into pieces. Kang coldly tells him that no matter what he does, he will always remain a failure. As Kang prepares to leave, Tom makes one final attempt to manipulate him. He shows him photos of Seo meeting with him and implies that they were secretly working together behind Kang's back. But Kang refuses to doubt Seo. He firmly declares that he trusts her completely. However, when Tom mentions what happened to Kang's mother in the past, Kang loses control and punches him once again. Not long afterward, Kang confronts Seo. Hurt and suspicious, he asks where she has been. He bitterly admits that he has become a fool because of how much he loves her. Demanding answers, he asks why she met Tom and why she never told him about the deal Tom offered her. In his frustration, he accuses her of using him. Unable to tolerate his accusations, Seo slaps him across the face. Kang tells her that if she can be this cruel, she should stop pretending to care about him. He says her worried expressions and concern must have all been fake, and sarcastically claims that the role of villain suits her perfectly. Seo is furious and wants to walk away, but Kang's love for her remains stronger than his anger. He admits that because of his feelings, he no longer knows whether he is thinking clearly or not. Seo becomes completely conflicted, unsure whether to forgive him or remain angry over the hurtful things he said. Meanwhile, Tom humiliates himself by waiting outside the chairman's house, hoping to convince him to reverse the transfer decision. The chairman refuses to meet him and spends his day peacefully playing chess. Eventually, Tom learns that begging will get him nowhere. At last, Seo reveals the truth to Kang. She tells him that she came from the past and that what he is experiencing may be reincarnation or the continuation of a previous life. To her surprise, Kang accepts the explanation far more easily than expected. After hiding the secret since the moment her soul traveled through time, she finally tells him everything. When Kang returns home, he carefully listens to her story and takes the herbal medicine she bought for him. From that day forward, Seo changes completely. She becomes cheerful, open, and full of life. She laughs with her grandmother, telling her that she has decided to follow her advice and live the life fate has given her. Suddenly, she starts spreading kindness everywhere. She buys gifts, hands out apples to her neighbors, and smiles so much that people become suspicious and wonder if the fruit is poisoned. After all, nobody has ever seen her act this friendly before. When she gives an apple to John, he jokes about how strange her behavior is. Seo proudly insists that she has always been a gentle person. She even quotes the shopkeeper, who told her she looked more delicate than a flower when she stayed quiet. John immediately points out that the seller was probably just trying to make a sale. Sure enough, Seo soon discovers that most of the apples she bought are rotten. Her biggest concern becomes the box she already sent to Kang. At the company, Cha and Hyun think something unusual is going on when the package arrives. Kang quickly warns everyone not to touch it because it is a gift from Seo. Proudly, he tells Hyun that it is the second gift she has ever given him. When Hyun asks about the first one, Kang happily reveals that it was herbal medicine because she worried about his health. Hyun then updates Kang on the nurse's condition. She plans to surrender herself once she recovers. Despite everything Tom did, Kang requests that the scandal remain private so the family's reputation will not be destroyed. Later, the chairman discovers that Tom is still sitting outside his house. Tom apologizes for every mistake he has made. The chairman calmly explains that sending him to America is not punishment. He genuinely wants Tom to spend time with his injured son and repair their relationship. Then he simply walks back inside, leaving Tom speechless. Elsewhere, Kang already seems aware of most of the chairman's decisions. When Hyun wonders how he knows everything, Kang jokes that he is not exactly cut off from the world. The only thing he has not learned about yet is the chairman's secret will, which Hyun apparently knows more about than anyone else. Meanwhile, Kang's greedy aunts become desperate. Fearing they will lose their chance at inheriting the chairman's fortune, they visit the shaman and ask her to perform rituals that will make their father favor them. They even hope she can somehow help them claim his wealth. The shaman immediately throws them out after sensing their malicious intentions and overhearing them discussing their plans to seize the chairman's money. Back at Seo's apartment, she forces John to help her cut up apples. During their conversation, John reveals that he already knows about her relationship with Kang because he constantly sees Kang's car parked outside her residence. Embarrassed, Seo tells him to mind his own business. Tom's troubles only continue. While he is still furious over the transfer order, he receives devastating news that his son has suffered a serious ligament injury during a game. Now, he has no choice but to travel to America immediately. Finally, Kang reflects on the warnings from Hyun and the doctor, both of whom fear Tom might try to harm him again. After thinking carefully, Kang convinces himself that despite everything that has happened, Tom would never actually go that far. Unfortunately, the audience already knows that trusting Tom may be Kang's biggest mistake yet. After everything they had been through, Kang is surprised to find Seo waiting for him with a huge smile on her face. She reveals that she has prepared a surprise and has decided that this will be their very first official date as a real couple. Naturally, Kang expects her to take him somewhere elegant, a quiet cafe or a romantic restaurant. Instead, Seo completely destroys every expectation he has by dragging him into a massive line outside a crowded local restaurant. Kang stares at the place in confusion and asks what is so special about it. Seo simply smiles and tells him that she wants to experience all the little things she loves with him, no matter how simple they are. As always, her sincerity leaves him speechless. Kang immediately gives up arguing and follows her without complaint. The date continues with Seo taking him on yet another adventure. This time, she drags him up an endless staircase that looks capable of giving healthy people back problems. Kang suffers through every step because seeing her happy is worth it. Seo excitedly explains that several famous dramas were filmed there, turning the entire climb into her personal fan tour. Things become even funnier when they ride a cable car. Seo completely embarrasses herself by screaming the entire time and begging them to let her down as if she were trapped on a terrifying carnival ride. Kang can only watch and laugh. Meanwhile, John receives a call from someone at the agency asking him to park a car in the garage. His pride is immediately wounded, and he wonders whether everyone thinks he is some kind of servant. Still, he ends up doing it anyway. To his surprise, Ji suddenly gets into the car. Since John has secretly admired her for a long time, he happily drives her wherever she wants to go. Back on the date, Kang and Seo visit a famous location covered with thousands of colorful love locks. According to the legend, couples who leave a lock there will never be separated. Seo is fascinated by the sight but refuses to believe the superstition. She points out that it would be heartbreaking if they returned one day and found their lock missing. Elsewhere, John accidentally sees Ji's real personality. Furious after reading online comments comparing her acting to Seo's, Ji begins insulting viewers rumors and complaining about everyone who criticized her. When she notices John watching, she panics. Horrified that someone has seen her true self, she immediately starts acting arrogant toward him after learning he is Seo's manager. Her biggest concern becomes finding out who Seo's mysterious boyfriend is. She orders John not to repeat a single word of what he heard. Of course, John is far too nice to expose her anyway. Meanwhile, Kang opens up to Seo about something deeply personal. He admits that he has hated loneliness his entire life. Hearing this affects Seo more than she expects. Looking him directly in the eyes, she promises that she will never leave him alone. She asks him to trust her and believe her words. As she plays with soap bubbles nearby, Kang watches her quietly, hoping she never breaks that promise. Because she has finally embraced happiness, Seo starts trying to become a better person. She personally makes sweets and distributes them to everyone on the production team. Unfortunately, not everyone appreciates her efforts. Several people casually throw away the boxes without even opening them. One jealous actress in particular seems bothered by the positive attention Seo is receiving. Later, Ji is washing her hands in the bathroom. While worrying that John might reveal what she said in the car, Seo approaches her politely, but Ji quickly shows her true colors again. She actually asks Seo to fire her own manager because she thinks he is unsuitable. Seo immediately shuts her down and makes it clear that she does not take orders from snakes. At the company, Tom continues acting as though nothing has happened. Despite being removed from power, he stubbornly refuses to leave and gathers a group of equally corrupt executives around him. Together they swear that he will never give up his position. What none of them know is that Kang has arrived. As Kang walks into the company, Hyun asks how he feels returning to the place. Kang admits that something feels wrong. The atmosphere itself makes him uneasy. Considering Tom is inside the building, his instincts are probably correct. Tom and his supporters are stunned when Kang enters. They immediately begin mocking him, questioning what an outsider is doing in such an important place. Kang calmly lets them finish. Then he delivers a devastating warning. He tells them that very soon he will take control of the company and every one of them will be sent back to where they belong. After saying that, Kang turns to leave. Tom cannot tolerate the humiliation and rushes after him. He insists that he will never allow Kang to enjoy the position he spent years trying to obtain. Kang reminds him that the only reason he ever held power was because of family connections. He bluntly states that if Tom had been a decent person, none of this would have happened. Before leaving, Kang delivers one final blow. Goodbye, former president. Meanwhile, John discovers that Seo's costume has been deliberately torn apart and thrown in the trash. He also finds most of the sweet boxes she distributed discarded by her co-workers. Seo becomes disappointed because she genuinely believed everyone was kind-hearted like her. To make matters worse, the assistant director blames her for the entire day's problems. Elsewhere, the chairman arranges what is essentially an ambush dinner. He invites Tae and her mother, hoping Kang will join them. Unfortunately for him, Kang refuses to play along. When Kang arrives, he immediately makes it clear that business matters should stay at the company. After drinking some tea, he gets up and leaves. Tae quickly follows him and grabs his arm, begging him to stay because her mother will be upset. Kang looks disgusted and reminds her that he already told her to contact his office and schedule the official termination of their engagement. Tae reveals that she knows exactly why he wants to end things, because of Seo. Kang instantly warns her not to mention Seo again. Then he openly admits that yes, everything he is doing is for Seo before walking away without another glance. Back at the set, John notices Seo feeling depressed over the wasted sweets. He offers to distribute them to his university friends instead, immediately cheering her up. Later, Seo visits the hospital to see her grandmother. When she arrives, she cannot find her anywhere. Panic takes over as she runs through the building convinced that Tom has done something to her. Thankfully, she eventually finds her grandmother, who explains that she was only taking a walk. However, Seo notices her grandmother hiding documents behind her back. When she reads them, she is shocked. The papers reveal a contract selling her grandmother's restaurant. After checking surveillance footage, Seo discovers one of Tom's men had been following her grandmother. She immediately realizes Tom manipulated the elderly woman into signing the agreement. That evening, Kang visits Seo's grandmother and introduces himself as Seo's boyfriend. The grandmother immediately likes him. She asks him to take care of Seo and never abandon her. During the visit, Kang notices the restaurant contract and realizes something is wrong. Not long afterward, Seo storms into Tom's office. Furious, she accuses him of exploiting a mentally vulnerable old woman and tricking her into signing away her restaurant. She tells him that every time she looks at his face, she feels sick. Her words trigger memories from the Joseon-era when Tom's past life counterpart admitted that he never truly hated his brother. He simply believed the world only had room for one son, and that son had to be him. Back in the present, Tom responds with his usual arrogance. He claims that he actually supports Seo's relationship with Kang. Then, he insults both of them by implying that Kang's status would be lowered simply by being with someone like her. That is when Kang arrives. Without hesitation, he grabs Tom and nearly crushes him. He tears the restaurant contract apart right in front of his face and promises that Tom will soon answer in court for everything he has done. Unfortunately, Kang's protective instincts come out in the worst possible way. While defending Seo, he begins lecturing her for acting on her own despite his repeated warnings. He insists that he will protect her no matter what. Seo does not appreciate being treated like a helpless child. She angrily asks who he thinks he is and tells him to stop acting as if she is stupid. Furious, she tells him not to follow her and storms away. As she leaves, Kang remembers Seo's grandmother begging him never to abandon her. Meanwhile, Tom makes yet another attempt to convince the chairman to forgive him. The chairman barely hides his disgust and bluntly asks what he wants. The next morning, Kang admits he did not sleep at all because of the fight with Seo. Talking to Hyun, he confesses that whenever he gets angry, he says things he regrets almost immediately afterward. Seo is suffering just as much. She keeps replaying the argument in her head and secretly waits for a text message or phone call from Kang apologizing. Eventually, she decides to make peace herself. First, however, she stops by a restaurant to eat. By pure coincidence, she runs into the chairman there. At the same time, Kang waits outside Seo's residence. Suddenly, a speeding car races toward him and nearly hits him. He narrowly avoids being struck. Back at the restaurant, the chairman tells Seo about Kang's childhood. He explains that Kang grew up without a mother and spent most of his life alone. The chairman admits that he was extremely strict with him when he was younger, but later tried to make up for it. That is why he wants Kang to have a family of his own. Seo promises that she will never abandon Kang. The chairman looks at her sadly and admits that he does not dislike her. He simply believes Tae is a more suitable match for Kang. Deep down, he knows Seo already understands why. Meanwhile, Tom arrives in America and reunites with his injured son. For perhaps the first time in the entire series, he actually behaves like a human being. Back at the restaurant, Kang calls Seo. She hesitates to answer, but the chairman encourages her to pick up the phone. Before she can say anything, disaster strikes. The same vehicle that nearly hit Kang suddenly crashes straight into the restaurant where Seo and the chairman are sitting. The impact is devastating. Both of them suffer serious injuries. The attack is clearly intentional, and all signs point toward Tom being the mastermind behind it. Completely unaware of what has happened, Kang keeps calling Seo again and again. When she does not answer, he finally sends a heartbreaking message apologizing for their argument and asking her to forgive him because he never meant to hurt her. And that is where the latest episodes leave us, with Seo and the chairman fighting for their lives, Kang desperately trying to reach the woman he loves, and a shocking attack that may finally expose the true monster behind everything.